say. I want to talk about a couple things. First of all, Dennis, I hate you. I can't follow you. I'm not really sure that all the pain and suffering, even though it ends so well, God, it just killed me. I know it's like a happy ending, but I don't know. It just killed me. Although I do know that, writing, my teacher, Claudette Sutherland, who's here, said the other night, and I'm not sure if you're the first person, many people maybe have said it in different ways. Claudette said, I don't know if I'm a writer, but I write. And when I started writing, I, like many things in my life, like acting. I started acting. I got a play at the New York Shakespeare Festival. The first week I was an actress. It was amazing. I started writing. I got hired at NPR to be a commentator right away. It's only gotten harder. And everything I do, I have immediate first success, and that's only gotten harder. And I think one of the reasons why it gets harder, I forgot to say, I want to talk about writing and read a little bit, but I really want to talk about writing. It's gotten harder because I care more about it. And the longer I do, the longer I acted, and the longer I've been writing, the harder it gets, because when I started, I didn't have standards for myself. I was like, hey, I'm doing it, And now I really care, about each sentence and what I'm putting out in the world. And you do have these moments sometimes that keep you going. Either moments when, and I'm thinking about this because I'm starting a new book, moments when I either feel like, that's a good sentence. And I can get really a huge kind of adrenaline, dopamine, serotonin rush in my own house, the kind that I sought out in the 80s at clubs all night long. I get that exact same rush from a really great sentence. I really can. When you just feel like my brain is working, and so the satisfaction, and what you just said, Dennis, about it becomes a link between you and your past that really can be so incredibly satisfying. So I'm thinking about, why am I doing this? That's one of them. And then, you can be lucky enough to have these moments, like this moment the other night at breakfast. It sounds so Jewish. Where someone came up to me and said, you saved my life with your book, Fired. I got fired for 23 years from a job, and I remembered your book, and I wanted to kill myself, and I read your book, and I laughed so much, and I thought about how much you must have sucked to get fired by Woody Allen, and how terrible you were, and that you actually, I was like, great! And it's true. I really sucked in that play, because to get fired from a play, you have to suck. But sharing that story and then collecting these other stories, it really did speak to so many people. And so, it can be these what was it that keeps me going? The moment alone, the sentence that's greater. When you feel like your words have connected with someone, when you're lucky enough to have that happen, that's really an amazing thing. And but what I was really thinking about today, in particular to writing, is that every time I start to write something, whether it's a commentary or a book, I start from incidents really, things that happen to me, because really amazingly crappy things happen to me all the time. It's like I'm a magnet for that, or the way I see the world. And I really enjoy that, though. It's really fun. It's just, you can't believe how one thing can just tumble down the worst. It's like Woody Allen. I knew he was hating me from the minute I started the rehearsal, and I'm thinking at the same time, God, this is a great story. So, but the incidents that I'm writing that always inspire me never end up in the final thing that I'm writing. Right. And that's a really weird thing, but I think that's a really common thing for writing. And so what I'm doing now, pertinent to this, I'm going to punch different things, so I start by writing something, and that thing never makes it into the book, or the essay, and that just kills me. So I have a collection of these things that started the process, and I'm hoping maybe they'll make it into the next book. So I'm not sure if I have time to read. Do I have time to read?
Yes,
Okay,
read.
but I'm going to read a very short passage and then tell you the incident that started this.
Yeah.
What should I do first, the reading or the incident?
Whatever you want.
The incident.
Okay, the incident. So this book, which just came out, and it is a he said, she said, which is a difficult way to write a memoir, because what we had to do is, even though my husband and I, the whole premise is that you can be in the same place but be having completely different experience from your spouse. And it just, you know, the same thing happens to you, and yet you see it completely differently. And what's the challenge of this book was, though, that we had to work together ultimately. We had to write alone, then we had to work together to divvy up who got to write about what. And even though there were many natural times when we felt differently about things, there were some things that we overlapped and we had to parcel them out. It was like, okay, I'll take this from, I'll take this dinner, and you take that lunch, and you'll take the birth of our son, and you'll take, it was crazy. It was like dividing up your own memories. And I'm going to read a passage about the birth of our son. And the reason why I wrote this story, never made it. I wrote the story because based on an incident, and it just didn't fit in the final book, which also speaks to how much you have to write and how much you have to edit. And there's that saying, you kill your babies, not Titus Andronicus kind of way, but as a writer, all your family gone. Never even made the appearance in the book. Maybe it'll make it in the next book, because it was such a powerful moment. And I would love to find, I'm always, I think as a writer, looking for a home for these things. So they're like little children that I'm looking for homes for.